wish that was on.
Que lo que. OGV, episode 26. It's the Blake Peters episode. Shout out Blake Peters. We all know that's his favorite number. All the audience knows that's his favorite number. Packed show today. We love it. We got some NFL, some bets, some baseball talk. We'll recap the golf vlog that I just shot. Should be out next week for that ass. So it's going to be a fun show. We got a wet Willy of the week and a good decompression. Lex, you want to give a shout out to our sponsors?
Yep, I'll take it away. As usual, Golf Course Degenerates, check them out. They continue to post great content on Instagram. They got fire gear. Check them out. I actually golfed with my dad this past weekend, and he had been hooked up with a Golf Degenerates hat. He said it's the best fitting hat he's ever worn. That is not a lie. I didn't make that story up. Our other sponsor, Nashville Stars. I don't have any of the gear with me. Part of that's on me. Part of that's on the Nashville Stars. Nevertheless, doing great things out there. Hopefully they're an expansion team in the MLB at some point soon. Shout out Nashville Stars.
Yeah, I got that towel on my golf bag, and I gave him a shout out in the golf vlog. So,
there we go.
Yep. We should be all good there. And Golf Course Degenerates, Michael, still waiting on my stuff. But
you might have to post a little clip of you saying that, and then maybe on the Instagram, and then maybe you'll get some
and just
stuff.
tag him. Yeah, I might do that. Really pull his arm, twist his arm. Love it. All right, let's get right into it. The weekly recap. We'll just quickly go over the golf vlog I just shot with the member of the Cleveland Guardians organization, Trent Denholm. It was just him. For those of you that don't know, he is the former Big West Pitcher of the Year out of UC Irvine. Now he's in the Cleveland Guardians organization. His brother Logan is one of our friends, played with us at Davis. And shout out to him for kind of hooking that up, facilitating that. But it was a fun time. I won't spoil anything. Let's just say, I don't want to say it's frustrating, because it's not frustrating. I love just playing with good players, but my network is really good golfers, and I get waxed.
Can you give a score, or maybe how many shots he beat you by?
I don't think we did. We did match play.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure of like I know. I think he shot like 1 or 2 over.
Jesus. So if you
on the front, we only played 9 holes.
Still impressive. Okay, so if you had to pick one part of Trenton's game that's the best, what would you say?
Ball striking. Can ball strike with the irons very well. He said he had told me he was a little bit inaccurate off the tee. That was not the case on Saturday. He was driving it very well off the tee. Got him to do a Hadouken drive. So look for that clip coming out, because our Hadouken drives were impressive to say the least.
That's
I
great.
wish the Bev cart was watching.
I'm looking forward to that golf vlog next week.
And other news, I tweaked my hamstring.
Okay.
A week before the Winona Ryder Cup.
Yep. Gonna need to hear exactly what happened about that.
So yeah, since I got back from my brother's wedding, been a little laissez-faire, as they say, about going to the gym. Just kind of getting in with working on my golf game. In that time, my muscles clearly did not take too well to that, because I was in the gym for the first time in a little bit yesterday. Poppy was front squatting the house. Nothing new.
Very nice.
I got up from my third set, started walking around, and I felt like someone jabbed a knife into my hamstring. Like, okay, well, that didn't feel too good. Maybe it's just kind of a cramp, whatever. Walked over to the water fountain, got some water. All right, let's try like an air squat. Let's do this. Nope, couldn't move past even close to parallel. So I shut it down. Being the smart guy I am, I shut it down. Probably could have pushed myself. Maybe also would have completely popped the hamstring, which then I really would have been on the shelf. Feel okay today. It was a little sore. That being said, I do not like having like a nagging injury going into a big tournament. That being said, it is my first tournament. So a little nervous about that. But at the same time, we're in the dog days right now. Everyone's playing hurt. Everyone's injured. That's not an excuse for me. I'll be out there. I'll be ready to go. And I can guarantee you it will not hinder me.
Well, let me just start by saying the timing could not be worse for this injury with the Winona Ryder Cup coming up next weekend, like we mentioned. I think you'll be able to grind through it, like you said. Credit to you, though, for being smart. You could have easily gone out there for your fourth set. Not sure how much weight that is, but, the fourth set, you're usually pushing it a little bit. I can only imagine what would have happened if you tried to front squat, during your fourth set with weight on the bar. You probably would have flattened yourself under some plates.
Yeah, it would have been really embarrassing. I don't even like to ask people to spot me anyway, because number one, it's not like I'm like maxing out on front squat anyway. But at the end of the day, it's just embarrassing if, you're just kind of stuck in this position in a semi-fetal position and someone has to come help you. More than likely, someone less athletic than myself has to come help you, basically serve as some sort of geriatric aid, which we would not want. But nonetheless, feeling okay today. I think we're going to pull through. What about yourself? How was your week?
Glad to hear it. Nothing major to report the past week. I did play Wild Horse Golf Course twice this past weekend with my dad. Came up and we played a little bit of golf. Saturday, we played from the Blues. If you've ever played Wild Horse Golf Course before, the Blues are fairly short, but it's an interesting, challenging course in terms of what shots you choose. Props to myself. I shot an 81 from the Blues, and then I was like, Dad, let's push it back. We played from the Blacks on Sunday, and then I shot an 84 from the Blacks on Sunday.
That's pretty good, especially
Yeah,
Wild Horse. Wild Horse is not a easy course per se. I'm not saying, this is Whistling Straits by any means, but it is not. It is a particularly challenging course. It'll test you.
I would say that Wild Horse, if you're a first timer, can be challenging. Wild Horse is the closest thing to a home course for me. I probably played it over 50 times, so I got a pretty good handle on what you're supposed to do, at least.
Now, is that your best score that you've ever
I've hit
out there?
I shot an 80 out there one time, but 81, I mean, that's right up there with my all-time low. I've never broken 80. It's just been 80s and 81s.
Nice. What do you think you need to do to break that, to get to that magic number 79, 78?
When you look at it, after a round, there's a bunch of different things you could have done to just, shave one or two strokes off. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but I think I'd have to say if I can go no double bogeys on my scorecard, I will shoot under 80.
If I didn't have a double bogey on my scorecard, I'm hitting Riot House that night.
I mean, yeah, and you're probably also going sub 80 because I don't want to talk about this too much. I know people don't care about my golf, but
I care.
And that's what's important. I mean, when I'm looking at my scorecard, it is, one bogey or 1-7 when I've had a great day. It's like, man, if you just played the smart shot or just laid up, you would have got a bogey and you would have shot 79, but maybe if you play that way all the time, you don't even get that close. So I don't really know what it's going to take, a big putt, a lucky round, or maybe a different strategy. Not quite sure. Or just practice.
Yeah, it's more than likely practice is probably
the one thing I'm neglecting.
Probably the answer. I think those go hand in hand though. Last thing on this, practice and the mental game go hand in hand, because the more I feel like, oh, my swing feels good, I've been practicing, the more confident I am, therefore the less mistakes I'm going to make. Kind of simple when you really think about it, but it's way easier said than done.
100% in all facets of life, preparation leads to confidence, baby.
Exactly. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Very, very philosophical, great vocabulary used so far. Baseball. Before we get into the NFL and get into my winning week and your losing week of gambling, the Giants have clinched a playoff berth. The Dodgers actually clinched one as well. Giants clinched a playoff berth, led by none other than the captain himself, Captain Daddy Belt. He has called himself the captain. He called himself Daddy. For a decade, we saw this mild-mannered, kind of soft temperament, what seemed like soft temperament kind of guy. He was never have I ever said he was a bad baseball player by any means. Great baseball player. We just, and maybe the media is like more to blame for this, because every year it was like, this is the year, Belt, 25 bombs, 100 ribbies, book it.
Yeah.
Every single year is kind of, we're led to believe that. Meanwhile, he just kept putting together good ABs. He'd get blown away by a lot of 95s, but so do a lot of hitters. Now, all of a sudden, after a decade, this guy is basically the last person on planet Earth that I would expect to just call himself, tape a C on his jersey, which is like something that I think I would do, and then start calling himself daddy and like congratulating himself after games. One of the biggest 180s I've seen from an athlete, and I'm all in. After a decade of kind of being on and off the Belt train, I'm 100% in.
Am I correct that this is Brandon Belt's first season with more than 20 home runs?
I think you're correct.
I would have.
Don't quote us on it, though.
I would have bet that Brandon Belt had hit 20 home runs because of exactly what you said. Every year, whoever, the media projected that Brandon Belt was going to have this awesome season. They like Brandon Belt for some reason, and he never quite did. But it is cool that he's having this great season. He also spent some time on the, is it called the IL?
IL.
On
Correct.
the IL. He spent some time doing rehab. He played for the River Cats. Saw a game. He threw me a ball. Shout out, Brandon.
Do you think he remembered you?
No.
Or remembers you?
Not a chance. I think he just threw it to the group. I just happened to be the most aggressive with best hands and caught the ball. The thing I will say is at the beginning of this year, I thought the Giants were going to clean house after this year. I thought they were getting rid of Posey. I thought maybe they put him at first base, but I thought they were going to get rid of Posey, Crawford, and Belt. They're all in the decline. And sure enough, all three of them are having career years, and now they're going to have to pay all three of them. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's certainly not what I expected.
Yeah, it was almost, I thought it was going to be a last dance type thing, except the team was just going to suck.
Like they knew it was the last season, but they weren't going to make the playoffs.
Right. They were just going to win maybe 83 games at the most.
Yeah.
But it was kind of their last hurrah, this core group that's won 3 World Series. Now, I don't know what's going to happen because Joey Bart's having a pretty good year in Sacramento. Posey is still Salvador Perez is having an unreal season. But the way Posey's commanded this pitching staff, the way he is hit the ball, the way like his hands seems like it's back. I know he took last year off. I don't know what they're going to do, nor right now do I really give a shit, because this season has been one of the most fun seasons to watch in my lifetime. As watching every single year of my life of the Giants, this is up there, top 5 greatest seasons.
Completely agree. When they had made it to the playoffs in the World Series the 3 times before, baseball was a little different, in my opinion. Any team could make it any year, relatively speaking, but there seemed to be a lot more, is the word parity in the league, right? There's a lot of different things could happen. There were surprises, but now you're getting to 2021 and you have seriously dominant arms, dominant bats, teams that are paying so much money to create these monster teams. And you just think there's no way that the Giants are in the mix at the beginning of this year when you look at the NL West. And here they are securing a playoff spot. It is really, really remarkable what they've done.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And they also pitch the shit out of the ball. That's something that should be given a lot of credit to, not just Farhan and the front office, but the coaching staff too. Like Kapler's going to win Manager of the Year. Shout out to Kapler's minion, by the way. I'm a huge Kapler's minion fan.
Yeah, who is that guy?
I don't know his name, but at the beginning of the year, he started out like looking different than Kapler. Granted, he looks like he's some sort of, I don't want to assume anything, but could be Filipino descent, something along those lines. At the beginning of the year, he had a different look than Kapler. As the year has progressed, and granted, he just stands behind him. He just stands there next to him the whole time, stands there behind him, whatever. As the year has progressed, Kapler's minion has looked more and more like Kapler. Same haircut, same beard. I don't know if he's had a beard the whole year. I haven't been paying attention. Same exact glasses. And I'm assuming he just, when he goes to the barbershop, he just goes and says, give me the Kapler. I don't know exactly what that is, but they look exactly alike. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Again, I probably haven't watched as much Giants baseball as you have, but I definitely know who you're talking about, and I definitely agree with what you're saying that it is a mini Kapler.
Yeah, I would love a month by month progression of just him at opening day standing next to Kapler and now, because last night, man, they look exactly alike now.
I was also thinking that you could probably go back through these podcasts and vlog and find quotes from me basically saying, because we're week 20 whatever of me being part of this, that me thinking that the Giants are a fraud, they're not going to make it, blah blah blah. Okay, they're getting better, but I'm not sure. And now obviously they made the playoffs. You could probably find a bunch of clips all related to that.
Oh, even if you go back to the long ball podcast, I was saying, God, this team is so boring. I've had it with this core, blah, blah, blah. I think that was like the general consensus. I thought they were going to overachieve because people were like 75 wins, 77 wins. This team could be worse than the Orioles. I knew they were going to do better than that just based on the leadership that they have. But I don't think any person saw what the Giants are doing.
Can I bring up one other baseball related thing?
Yes.
So obviously I'm an
Yes,
A's fan, and they're fighting for the wild card spot. They're about 3.5 games out of the wild card.
Yeah, they're done.
Did you know that right now Tampa Bay basically has the AL locked up, but the three teams fighting for 2 spots in the AL wild card are the Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, also AL East, and they're all almost exactly the same record.
Did the Mariners win, or did the Red Sox win tonight? Did they beat the Mariners today?
If this is updated, I believe so. Right now, the Yankees are 82-64, the Blue Jays are 82-64, and the Red Sox are 83-65. So they are dead even. 4 out of the 5 teams in the AL East are fighting for playoff spots, and 3 of them. I mean, it's going to be an absolute wild last couple of weeks of the baseball season here in the AL East, and I don't know if the A's are going to be able to squeak in there, but it would be cool.
What's the NL looking like? Because the Padres, who have seemingly held on to this second wild card spot for forever, they've just been a punching bag for the Giants and Dodgers for the past week and a half or so.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I must have just lost you for a second.
The NL. By the way, Giants could come back tonight. They're down 5-0. Red Sox beat the Mariners in 10. Because I know the Padres are playing the Cardinals this weekend. And I think that could have wild card implications too. So it's going to be a wild, wild finish.
Right. Obviously, the Dodgers or the Giants have that wild card locked up. It's crazy that the Dodgers are 2 games behind the Giants, and they're 16.5 games on the next place wild card team. But it's right. Yeah, it's St. Louis, San Diego, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, all within 3 games of each other. So the St. Louis-San Diego series is going to be interesting. But yeah, if you would ask me, do you think San Diego is going to be a 500 team mid-September? I would have said no shot. So that's been a huge surprise.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun finish. This has been an excellent baseball season. I don't know how you could not like the second wild card spot. It makes this stretch run so much more interesting.
Oh yeah.
I don't get not liking the 1-game playoff to get in. I get it. You work so hard to get there, and now to have it, be done in a game. But dude, this is high stakes, baby. Who doesn't love a winner take all? I love that. The pressure's on. Who's going to let him hang? Who's going to let him hang?
They basically give you what you want. They give you a game 7 of the World Series to start off the playoffs. The most intense game I've ever been to was when the Oakland A's played the Rays in a wild card game, and they filled 50,000 in the Oakland Coliseum, and it was absolutely electric.
Yeah, and got waxed.
They got waxed, just like they do every year in the wild card. But I mean, it just makes everything more interesting. Obviously, we love the Giants, but I mean, they have to keep playing. They cannot lose the division to the Dodgers, right? It makes everything so much more different.
Right. It magnifies everything, changes how you look. So I'm in. We got anything else on baseball before we get to football?
No, I think that's good. Look out for that AL East division as we go down the stretch.
All right. Football before we get into our gambling portion. Couple of notes I have here. The Jaguars got waxed by what everyone thought was going to be the worst team in football. I even saw some 0-17 talk about the Jets or the Texans. I mean, yeah, not Jets, excuse me. Urban Meyer, before that game, there was an article that came out, says he's becoming unhinged. I don't know exactly what that means. I know that Urban Meyer constantly has these health episodes. I don't know what exactly the diagnosis is. I think that's a HIPAA violation. So anytime though an article comes out that you're losing it before game one, that's not good. And I just think the Jags are already a dumpster fire. The Jaguars are the Jaguars. Hopefully they turn it around. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence, and it sucks that we're leading with this, but Urban Meyer is officially unhinged. Thoughts on that?
I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars defense in all 4 of my leagues, thinking that they would do a good job against the worst football team in the NFL. I ended up losing a league because they scored -3 points. And if they had just scored 0, if I had played no defense, I would have won that league. So that one hurts. Urban Meyer, rumors of him moving to USC after one game with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
One game.
He says they're not true, but
who knows? He said he's not going to coach anymore. I'm not going to say Urban Meyer's a liar, but he leaves the door open for literally everything. And this is how it's going to be all the time with the Jags. Hey, this coaching spot's open. Urban Meyer, possibility. You're going to see that. And this isn't college where the kids really they have a lot of power now, especially more power now. But you're talking about grown ass men and their trust and their commitment to you. So with a rumor coming out about Urban Meyer potentially going back to college, he's 1 for 1. So we'll see if it goes 2 for 2 this week. I don't know how long that's going to fly in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is or when that news was known, but just hilarious timing with that. Gets stomped on game 1. Rumors of him going to USC is just hilarious to me.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next note here, Jameis early MVP. So our way too early MVP discussion. Chandler Jones, 5 sacks. Jameis Winston, 5 tutties. Looked like just a baller. He gave mega amounts of credit to his trainer after the game, and then could not actually remember what his trainer had told him. So in classic Jameis fashion, he stole the show with his press conference or his post-game interview.
I should have wrote down some of his quotes. I don't have any specific quotes, but if you watch clips of any of his post-game interviews, they're so funny. Like you can tell he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's trying so hard to know exactly what he's talking about because he wants to just, be the smart quarterback that knows what's going on and the one that's speaking proper and keep his job and everything like that. So it's pretty funny. If you get a chance, check out all those clips of Jameis post-game game 1 interviews.
Do you think he's self-aware?
What do you mean by that?
Do you think he knows what he's doing? Like, do you think he's being funny on purpose, or is he just a naturally funny guy and he has no idea how funny he is?
I think the latter. I think he's trying to be everything but funny, and it all turns into funny. Like when he's eating W's, I think that was 100% like him trying to be motivational, and it just turned into like the laughing stock meme of the NFL. And that's him trying to be serious and have these great answers. Everyone just laughs at him because they just know, like, yeah, isn't that the guy that still grab legs? So
right, and licked his fingers during a pregame speech. Yeah, Jameis, though. Jameis, watch out for him. More on the Saints in my ride with Razzy later.
Oh, can I make one comment?
Yeah. Go
Realistically,
for it. Chime in
realistically, my
amongst it.
way too early MVP, Kyler Murray. That's it. I just want to say it right now. Week 2, Kyler Murray MVP.
Are you calling it right now? Like
Just to wait. Well, I mean, are you calling as much as you're calling Jameis Winston the MVP?
So Jameis Winston's the week 1 MVP.
Okay, so Kyler Murray's my prediction to be MVP after week 1. How about that?
Okay, so I'm writing this down. Okay. We're going to have a week 1 MVP. So that's yours. Then we're going to have a week 1 and 2 MVP next week.
Just to clarify, I think Jameis had a better week than Kyler Murray, but based off of who I think will be the MVP at the end of the season, I'm guessing.
No, that's not how this works.
Come on. Everyone knows Jameis had the best week.
Okay, then Jameis is the MVP.
All right. Jameis is week 1.
Through week 1.
Yes.
Leader in the clubhouse.
Fine, I'll agree on it.
Okay. Good on you. Good on you. And two more notes here before we get into gambling. Aaron Rodgers, he looked awful, looked so bad against the Saints. And then in his post-game conference, all sorts of memes on Twitter, really funny stuff. Looked like I saw one that said he looked like he was going to rat out his friend for a reduced sentence. He had this what looked maybe a leather jacket. I don't know if it was a leather jacket, but it was some sort of coat jacket thing, ponytail, facial hair. He looked like a narc. He looked like a mega narc. Tough week, especially after you do, once again, the motif of this, The Last Dance, even though we're going to have hopefully many more episodes of this. But after you do The Last Dance with Devontae Adams, and then you just get absolutely waxed week 1, and then you dress like that in the post-game interview, I was hoping he was maybe going to look like Cam Newton.
Did you see that if Aaron Rodgers had thrown every pass into the dirt, that his QBR would be higher than it was in that game?
Yeah, that's how it's so weird how that works, because I was watching the Peyton Eli broadcast on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And they were going over Eli's like quarterback rating against the Ravens his rookie season, and he went like 4 for 14 with 2 picks. And he's like, if I wouldn't have completed a pass, my QBR is still like 20. But because he threw the interceptions, it was literally 0.0.
It's so funny. And I don't know how it's calculated, but I just think it's funny that there's at least one stat out there where you could have done literally nothing and you would have done better than you did in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough look.
Is Aaron Rodgers throwing the season? Is he mad at the Green Bay Packers, and is he doing this on purpose?
I think he wants to avoid jail. I think if he actually threw the season, I think there's no Packers ownership. So I don't actually know who's going to hold him accountable. LaFleur, the guy dominates LaFleur. So maybe the GM comes after him. Maybe he's looking to just get out of football, retire mid-season, like maybe a little Vontae Davis action. He retires at halftime. I don't know, but it is a little fishy. I'm glad he brought it up.
Yeah, just wondering if it's one of those situations. It's far-fetched, but if he's basically like, hey, if you're not going to trade me, I'm just going to play like trash. That would be hilarious.
This is getting into like a Brooks, Bryson Ryder Cup pairing. If one of them just keeps duffing shots, giving the other like a terrible look in. I like it.
So that they have to trade him and then he just goes off for the rest of the season. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. We got anything else on A-Raj before we get into our last thing?
Nope, that's it.
Raiders Monday Night Football against the Ravens. That was one of the crazier games I've just ever seen, not let alone Monday Night Football. Back and forth, a lot of talk in our group text, everyone kind of breaking the knee pads out for Derek Carr, even though he's literally just proven to be, what is it? In baseball, it's a JARP. We used to call him JARPs, just another right-handed pitcher. 88 to 91, throws 3 pitches, fastball, changeup, pretty straight. He's a JARP. we loved facing Jarps. Derek Carr's one of those. He's a Jacoba, just another quarterback, you know, Jacoba. Does that sound right?
You don't have to tell me I'm a Derek Carr hater. I'm a Raiders and a Derek Carr hater. My friend and roommate Esson was trying to tell me that he thinks Derek Carr was a top 10 quarterback. And so I put out an Instagram poll and said, is Derek Carr a top 15 quarterback? And I can go back and look, but it was in the neighborhood of 60 to 70% of people thought that Derek Carr was a bottom 15 quarterback. And I'm completely in agreement with those followers.
I think he's just teetering in that range. I think you could put so many guys in that range. Like, there's very few, there's the elite of the elite that I would, hold to a very high standard. And then there's just a handful of Jacobas, just another quarterback. You got your Jimmy G's, you got your Derek Carrs, you got your Kirk Cousins. A lot of those guys. Matt Ryan used to be, in that upper tier, but I'd put Matt Ryan in the Jacobas. So, a lot of talk about that. It was a excellent game. I thought the Raiders were going to lose I said it in the group text when they got down to the one. Well, we thought they won in overtime. Play was called back. I was like, would be a damn shame if they turned the ball over here and returned it. Sure enough, Derek Carr threw one through a guy's hands and then off of a guy's head that ended up being intercepted. Never really seen many plays like that before, too. It's why sports are the greatest reality show. And then the Ravens just handed it back to him on a silver platter twice once they did the zero blitz, which I get it. But the Raiders at the same time, they also won on a zero blitz last year. Same exact defense.
Against the Jets.
So not really sure what you're doing there. Once again, I'm not a football coach, though. So hindsight 2020, whatever. What was one of the craziest games I've seen.
For sure. Nothing to add there. I just, when they're at first and goal, I was like, if they don't win it here, I can't see them winning it. And again, I thought the Ravens had it at that point, but they gave it back to the Raiders.
Yeah. You got anything else before we look ahead to next week and give away our picks?
No, let's get right into it.
All right. You want to start off with your teaser? You want to lead us off here?
I do. Did you want to recap quickly our bets from last week and how they did?
Do you have your teaser? I didn't write your teaser down.
I have my teaser and how it did, yes.
Okay. All right. Why don't you go first?
Okay. So last week, my teaser was a 3-team teaser. It involved the Niners, Chiefs, and Colts. I won't say what the spreads were. Niners and Chiefs hit. Colts did not. They got absolutely spanked by the Seahawks. They needed to cover 9. So they just needed to lose by less than 9, and they lost by, 18 or 20 or some shit. So the teaser did not hit. Moving on, 0 for 1. Week 2, 3-team teaser. Again, I'm not going to explain it this week. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Niners tease to 2.5, plus 2.5. Titans tease to plus 11.5. Let me take a step back. Niners are playing the Eagles, plus 2.5. Titans against the Seahawks, plus 11.5. I don't see how the Titans lose by 11.5 points. Bengals plus 8.5 to the Bears. So all 3 of those teams can lose. I see them all winning.
Okay.
What do you think? Initial thoughts. Where's my biggest risk this week? Niners, Titans, or Bengals?
I think it's going to be Bengals again with me. That was like how I was last week. But I hate those picks. I hate all 3.
Okay.
And I see you going 0-2.
Perfect. Anyway, this bet.
Do you like how it feels? Because you did that to me last week, where you basically just shat on all my picks. So how does it feel now?
Right. I didn't shat on all your picks. I think I like the Niners picks, but it was risky because it was minus 7.5, if I remember correctly. And I know you're lying because you would never shit on another person's Niners pick. And I have a Niner in my teeth. So I just know you're just trying to throw it back at me. I understand where that anger is coming from, but I know it's not genuine. Anyway, continue.
Ride with Razzy. We had the Niners at minus 7.5. We got it at 7.5 and the line moved to 9 on Sunday. So shout out to me.
Was that because DeAndre Swift had allegations that he killed a person?
Murder? There was an anonymous tip of murder.
Is that why the line changed?
I'm not sure. That could have been it. They could also have been watching OGV and saw me give out that pick, and they're like, "This guy's a genius. Let's move the line." So either one of those two, either murder allegations for DeAndre Swift, which are wild, by the way, or myself. I also had the Vikings at minus 4.5. Is that correct?
I had you at minus 3.5, but you
minus 3.5. But
okay.
who cares? They lost. They got dominated by the Bengals. And then I had the Steelers at plus 4.5, which you especially didn't like because I'm a Josh Allen guy, by the way. Love Josh Allen. I just didn't like the Steelers defense is legit. So I thought it was just going to be a close game through and through. What do you know? Weird. So this week we're 2-1. If you bet with me last week, you're in the positive. I got 3 more picks for you. Carolina the Saints are at Carolina. I like Carolina at plus 3.5. I'm going against the early season MVP favorite, Jameis. I like Carolina's defense a lot. They got a pretty good pass rush. Saints are already a little banged up. And it's a home game for Carolina, division game. I think they're going to make a statement. I have the Jets at the Pats. I got the Pats minus 6. Belichick versus a rookie QB. Always Belichick versus a rookie QB. That's a sure thing bet for me. It's like betting on the team that clinched. That's my new theory, by the way, in baseball, is betting on the team that clinched the night before because a hungover team has nothing to lose.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how that analogy ties in. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Understood.
Titans at Seahawks.
There we go.
I'm with you there. I got Tennessee plus 5.5. The Seahawks last week was an anomaly. Rarely do they just blow the doors off teams. They're always in weird close games with like weird scores of 25-19 or something like that. In which case, if it was 25-19, you would lose this bet. So hopefully it's not that score, maybe 25-20. But it's going to be a weird score. It's going to be a weird game. Titans and the Seahawks. That's actually one of the most entertaining games on my list this week, just because you got Seattle in the home opener. And once again, they always play weird ass games.
I also want to clarify for our fans out there, because we're making different types of bets. With my bet last week, you would have been down 1 unit. With Razzo's, you would have been up 1 unit. But my bets, they give you 1.5 times your money. Razzo's are 1 each. So just so you know, there's different types of bets here. You can ride with both of us, one of us, or none of us.
That's right. But your bets this week stink. Bet.
Good. Okay. I bet you lose 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 of your bets. I hit my teaser, and then I'll be up more units on you than the season.
Okay. All right. We got to come up with some sort of thing at the end of the year who wins.
And I really should put this on a spreadsheet and keep track of it.
You should. I'm writing it down. I'm a write it down guy. I'm not a spreadsheet guy. I got a D in the Excel class in college that I had to take.
These are my week 1 and 2 bets. So 4 Post-its. So
a Post-it note.
So probably not the best organization on my part. I can't see that lasting 18 weeks.
I don't know how you're going to keep track of that, especially when you go to New York.
They were on my nightstand and I just brought them into this office. So let's hope that rides.
It's interesting.
I'm going to make a spreadsheet.
That was a very, very lightly contentious sports gambling segment that I really like what we got going. Healthy confrontation is I'm pro healthy confrontation.
Yep.
Wet Willy of the week. I love this segment. You want to know why I love this segment?
Because cyberbullying is actually okay.
Nope.
Okay.
That ain't it. Well, if you, I wouldn't consider this cyberbullying because here's why. The reason I love this segment is that no one is exempt from a wet willy. Right. Me, you, we have all had our moments where we deserve to be wet Willy. You know,
Sure.
humans are imperfect, as they say. So that ties into the grand scheme of things of my wet Willy of the week. I hate to do this. Brooks Koepka. He was on the cover of Golf Digest, and he let loose. That's one of the reasons why we like Brooks. He says what's on his mind. That being said, he had a bunch of quotes, and I don't know if you want to pull up the exact quotes. I'm not. I'm just going to tell you what it was, along the lines of. I'm not going to tell you verbatim. He essentially said it's very, very hard to switch into a team mindset in the Ryder Cup because it's so individualized. Major routines, it's so chill. He can pretty much decompress. We got decompression next. He can decompress from golf by just watching TV, hanging out at his hotel room. And every time he plays well in the Ryder Cup, he's like, well, I win my match. It's hard to shift his mindset into a team atmosphere. Bro, you literally played on teams until you turned pro. Like, you played college golf at Florida State. Before that, you were playing high school golf. It's not your first rodeo in the Ryder Cup. Have you ever played on a team before? Yeah, you have. And as much as I think Brooks is a dog, love watching him in majors, he's just someone that you root for. Whenever he's in the mix, it's always more interesting. That being said, dude, like, it shouldn't be, and I'm speaking from someone that has not played at the highest level of this yet, neither of you. That being said, I played at a pretty high level of team sports. I don't think it's that hard to shift your mindset if you play bad or you play well to just be team oriented. I really don't think it's that hard.
And for that, he deserves a wet Willy.
And for that, Brooks, just this one time, I'm going to wet Willy Brooks. I'm sorry, but it has to be done. I'm hoping that somehow you figure it out and shift that mindset into a team atmosphere so we can kick the shit out of Europe in a couple weeks.
I think that's the thing is we love Brooksy. We love who he is. We love his honesty. We love his confidence. I don't know. I love his tenacity.
Swagger.
Yeah, his swagger, his tenacity.
Steez.
But people actually care about the Ryder Cup. Like, I want the United States to win the Ryder Cup. So when someone basically is just shitting on the Ryder Cup and saying that they can't do it, or the format doesn't work for them, or that they don't like their teammates, it's like, you don't think people have come together to win, international competition or Olympic sports before? Of course they have, and it's been awesome.
The Greek Empire, all those kings and generals, they hated each other. They literally were conquering each other before Agamemnon shaped them all up. So it's been going on for ages, bro.
Anyway, that's my one point is, yes, Brooks, people like you more than other people on tour, but we also care about the United States winning the Ryder Cup. So why can't you just be on board with that?
Yeah, agreed. So wet Willy, just this week, Brooks, just this week.
My wet Willy, I don't know if the person I'm talking about necessarily deserves a wet Willy. Someone deserves a wet Willy here. So you can help me figure that out.
So you're wet Willying someone.
Someone's getting a wet Willy because of this situation. It was a baseball game. It was all over Twitter. Ground ball up the middle. I believe the Cardinals were on defense. Not sure who the shortstop was. Should probably research this a little bit more. But anyway, spin play up the middle, fires the ball towards first base, absolutely drills the umpire in the side of the head, who's standing about 10 feet off of first base, staring at first base to make the call.
So who's dialed in.
So he's just blind and just gets smoked with a ball. Is just bleeding. But you can't help but laugh immediately when he gets smoked with the ball.
Well, he stayed in the game too. So if he stays in the game, it's okay, we can laugh about it. If he had to be removed, you're well, I hope he's genuinely okay.
So, I think our two candidates for wet Willy are, one, the umpire for just, I don't know if they're supposed to have a head on a swivel and they're supposed to make a out or safe call, but just getting drilled in the, from the blind side. Or do we blame the shortstop for a major league shortstop firing such a bad throw that an umpire who's not even in the vicinity got drilled?
I think we got to wet Willy the shortstop because the umpire, I'm pretty sure you're trained to just be dialed in, pay attention to the bag, hear that sound, and then make the call. I'm not sure in your training, hey, just in case the shortstop makes a good play and then spins around and then hucks one 15 to 20 feet up the line, it may drill you in the dome. So just kind of be wary of that. I don't think that's in the training at all. So I'm going to put this 100% on the shortstop. I don't blame the umpire at all. The guy was dialed in. He's ready to make a call. Fucking shortstop's going headhunting.
Got it. So Junior Valentine, the umpire, you are safe. No wet Willy for you. Second year shortstop, Edmundo Sosa, you are getting wet Willied, and that's what we love about wet Willy. A guy I've never heard before is getting wet Willied this week.
Yes, sir. Edmundo, wear it, buddy. Wear it. One of these days, too, like as this show progresses, both of us are on the table to get a wet Willy. So like I could wet Willy you one week. You could wet Willy me one week. Everyone, all bets are off when it comes to wet Willy of the week.
Yep. Close personal friends, family.
No dogs.
I don't know.
No dogs.
Like a baby. If a baby did something stupid, could you wet Willy a baby?
What's the age limit? I feel like we got to have an age limit. At some point, that's child abuse.
Okay. All right. Good thinking. Way to keep us out of a lawsuit. I think you just gotta have good common sense when you're choosing who to wet Willy.
Right. Have some feel. Have some feel over who you're wet willing. Decompression.
Wet Willying a baby. Just walking over to someone's baby and just wet Willying their baby.
Yeah, you'd be arrested.
I guess
I don't know what the sentencing is, but I don't see how you couldn't like be held in some sort of jail cell after that.
Sounds funny, but yeah, you're right. If I think about the situation, that's actually just downright weird.
Yeah, it's either okay. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, you're facing jail time.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of illegal acts, decompression. We're not calling this the kidnapping challenge. We're just gonna throw this out there. We're super anti, about as much as anti-kidnapping as you can possibly be. I don't know how this started. We're calling this the capture challenge, the friendly capture challenge. We'll come out. It's a working title. Okay. What was it in Entourage where they call it Danger Beach? And Vince is like, what the fuck's up with the title? It's a working title. All right. This is a working title. The friendly capture challenge. How did this start? And give me basically your take on the rules.
I don't quite remember how it started. It was a group chat between you, me, and our friend Blake. Shout out Blake. It's a Blake Peters episode.
Blake episode. That's how this ties in. Yeah.
I don't remember how it started, but we basically were just talking about what if we just designated one of us three as someone that needs to be kidnapped by the other two, and we were all on board with it, but you didn't know when it was going to happen. You know, kind of how would you live your life? Would you just be like open to getting kidnapped because you know it's happening, or would you live a life of paranoia?
Or just, how shitty it would be if you fought back and one of us accidentally was killed.
Right. Or if you just got kidnapped, but not by us and just by someone else, and you actually were a victim of a real kidnapping, like how lame that would be.
Right. And you just willingly got kidnapped by these really dangerous people.
Right. Oh, no, you got me, guys. But it's actually real.
The kidnappers are like, this is the easiest kidnapping we've ever done.
Right. So Blake was, I think I remember Blake was very adamant that he would fight back, that he would maybe even kill one of us not to get kidnapped.
He also said he was just going to start carrying around a samurai sword.
Right.
And he said would be ashamed to lose an arm. I think that one was directed at
me. Regardless who that's directed to, not practical, but if he was, definitely a harder capture. I don't really know where we went from there, if we set up rules or talked about, situations, but I'm going to let you kind of take it away from there.
So I think we have to set up, however, I think the most you could get captured. So if this is just us three and we can recruit more people that maybe want to get in on this challenge, as of now, it's us three.
Right.
I think that we got to limit it to one capturing a year, right? Or two. Do you think we should go two?
I don't know how many captures per year we should make the rules to.
All right, as the capture challenge, once again, not kidnapping. We're not kidnapping each other. As the capture challenge commissioner, I'm just going to limit it to one a year.
Does that mean each person gets captured once a year, or only
Yes.
one person can be captured?
No. Each person can get captured once.
And I
you
think there's got to be a time frame. Like, do you have the whole year to capture that person, or do you have like a certain amount of time frame?
No,
So you can
it
just
can
like
be anytime. I think we should do holidays exempt because we're going to be with family and we don't want to like take away from us spending time with family.
All right, let me air this one out here. So if there's three of us and each of us can be captured throughout the entire year and there's a year limit, theoretically, I could team up with you to capture Blake, but you could then double cross me and then capture me with Blake.
Correct. That's the beauty of this is that there's a whole lot of politicking going on. Like, let's say you collude with Blake to capture me and then Blake hits me up like, hey, just letting you know, Lex is like, he's coming after you. Grocery store, Trader Joe's, 3:00. And I'm just ready for it. And then we ambush you. That is completely on the table.
So it's funny because you don't have someone that's trying to avoid the capture and someone that's capturing. You could just have two people trying to capture each other at the same time, which is wildly hilarious.
Then all chaos would ensue, which is kind of what we want in this situation.
Both people pull up with white vans to each other's locations, trying to grab
Spider-Man.
the other one, trying to grab the yes.
Yeah. Two ski masks.
Right. I really like that, the less rules the better, which I think we're finding out about this and ourselves right now.
Right. And I think I'm leaning towards making it only public places that you can capture the person. So
right. You don't
grocery store, Rite Aid, PF Chang's.
Okay. Yes. I mean,
so
is PF Chang's a public place?
Was it a private? It's not a country club.
I mean, aren't those all just private businesses?
No, I meant like just a public.
Not your house, not your
house. Definitely not work. That'd be tough to explain to your boss. Like, hey, why'd you leave early? Well, here's the thing, boss. Me and my friends, we like to kidnap each other. Actually, not kidnap. We like to capture each other.
Right. Okay. So I think we've got that part figured out. Now my next question is, do you need to then successfully deposit your capture at a location, or is there like some form of torture that you have to endure because you got captured, or what happens after?
I'm gonna, since we're a Wet Willy podcast, I would say you can get wet willied. You can get blindfolded. I'm gonna say no to hog tying. Just because that just seems super, super uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, we're all mega boys.
But if you have to hog tie someone to capture them, you could hog tie them.
You can hog tie them mid capture.
Yep.
And then once you get them in,
hog tie them.
You can, you have to unhog tie them. I think the most that you could hold someone captive, let's say an hour.
Great. Like, I don't really care about holding either of you guys captive. I just
I just need the check mark. Fun.
Yep.
Right. And the person, we got to figure out a point system now. We kind of have the rules, not a whole lot of rules, just don't have some feel, obviously don't hurt the guy, right. But use force, some sort of force.
Extra points if you capture someone by yourself without the use of a partner, right?
Okay, extra points. So we'll say double the points. We'll have like a point system. This is essentially this is like the Ryder Cup. This is pretty much like NHL, where it's just basically the standings throughout the year. If you escape, I think you should get 5 points.
How do you escape?
So let's say you and Blake tried to capture me and I literally escaped.
So you have to hold on to the person for a full hour. And if you escape within
No. Once you get them in your car or whatever means of transportation that you have at like post capture, your dump truck. once you get them into that, vehicle or whatever you're using, scooter, I don't know, then that counts as a capture. That's a capture.
Oh, got it. So if you
But
like hog-tied someone or dragging them like through Trader Joe's and they got out of that
then they got out and just ran away.
and they ran away, they would then get 5 points. And you
Right.
might also have some explaining to do.
Right. And you can't like be super, super violent mid capture. I kind of said that. I'm going to say the most you could do mid capture is a wedgie.
But what if, for example, Blake is carrying around a samurai sword? I mean,
He's
is it-
DQ'd. There's no
okay.
weapons.
So just like
No weapons.
don't carry around something you wouldn't normally carry around.
This
as a
is
human.
these are our weapons right here.
Okay.
Los manos, mi amigo.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I think I got it.
And we can kind of update this as more goes. If you vlog, if you get it on video, you send it my way. I'll post it on the Instagram. If you vlog it successfully too, that should be bonus points. So that way we can show people kind of what we're all about in terms of capturing each other.
Right. Anti-kidnapping, but pro-capture podcast.
Pro-capturing friends. Like best of friends. Let's get that clear. YouTube. I don't want to get banned from YouTube.
Don't. Right. That'd be crazy. But definitely don't be capturing like random people. Like that's
yeah, that's how you that's textbook kidnapping. Do not do that ever. Okay. Ever. You'll end up in jail. You'll get negative. You're actually DQ'd from the league. You're banned for life if you kidnap
a random person. What if you mistake one of your friends for a random person?
Then you probably aren't very good friends.
All right, fair. I think I'm on board. I think I got most of these rules down.
Okay. And we can, once again, update the rules as we go. This is a new league.
If you are listening to this and have suggestions, send them in. If you, want to join our capture league, let us know. Could be fun. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to what you clip out of this decompression, and because I think you'll get some good responses on Instagram.
Yeah, me too. I think the feedback will definitely be more positive than negative. I think it probably should be all positive because this is kind of a way for us to get primal. This is essentially a decompression of life.
Right. And if I had to guess, I would say more people than not are pro capture of their friends.
Their friends.
Yeah.
Totally. You get to spend time together. Who doesn't like that? All right. This was an excellent show. Great job. You brought your A game today, pal. You had all 4 pitches. You had command. And, this is where manager comes out. Lex, hit the showers, buddy. You did your job.
Thank you. And if we can hit some of these bets, all the better, but we'll figure that out next week.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram at OGV_golf, at ORazzo3. Lex.
Don't forget about our TikTok. It's mainly Razzo. Razzo's running it, but it's just OGV golf.
OGV_golf. It's the same as the Instagram.
Right. So check out the TikTok. There's some good videos and good clips on there. My personal Instagram at Alex E. Aguirre.
Sweet. And once again, hit your picks. Thanks for tuning in, guys.